This is where my love of flight sims started, and this is where we are now. Hey there and welcome. I'm Marcus Caballero and this video is something a little different. In celebration of reaching 1,000 subs, I thought it would be nice to go through how I became such a fan of gaming and flight sims in particular. I've been playing computer games since the early 80s. Yes, I'm old and have increasing amounts of grey hair. But my enjoyment of flight sims is just as strong now as when I was a 10-year-old. My first computer was the ZX Spectrum 128K, and it was, for its time, it was an amazing piece of kit, had a built-in tape deck and everything, just totally blew me away. And I would have been around 10 or 11, I imagine. And amongst games like The Untouchables, Treasure Island Dizzy, Stunt Car Racer, I absolutely rinsed a game called F-19 Stealth Fighter. When watching back the gameplay now, clearly it looks shockingly crude, but for me that just makes it even more surprising how immersive games can feel despite lacking top-notch graphics. Ace of Aces was another game that I remember being absolutely blown away by at the time. It was a World War II bomber flight simulator, and it was kind of based on a Mosquito. And I mean, the fact you could operate individual engines while switching between views was mind-blowing to me. A couple of years later I got a Commodore 64, and again it was how immersive some of the games were that I remember. Now in some part of this that will be the rose tint of nostalgia, but for the tech of the time these were pretty big games. Standout games for me were Gunship, a very enjoyable Apache sim, Microprose Soccer, Tracksuit Manager, and Red Storm Rising, a nuclear submarine simulator. Again, striving to bring some realism into the gaming that I was playing. I moved on to a PC in the mid-90s, and titles such as Jeff Crammond GP2 and F-22 Raptor took up most of my time. Though I did play a top-down game called Grand Theft Auto, and its London edition as well. It was a small game, I'm not really sure what happened to it after that, it kind of fell off the radar I think. The release of the PlayStation saw me console based right the way up until the PS4, and I could do a video by itself on the various titles on there that I played and absolutely loved. So I'll move on to when I returned to PC and the games I've been playing since that move back. It was around 2014 I got back into PC gaming and plunged into the world of Jebediah Kerman. Kerbals had such a steep learning curve with no kind of hand-holding you would receive from most games that I found I was hooked. Before I knew it, a couple of 100 hours were invested and I'm studying basic orbital mechanicals, trying desperately not to kill Jebediah again. It's that feeling of achievement which keeps me coming back for more. DCS World though started slowly for me. I downloaded and had the Flaming Cliffs DLC, so took the Su-25 for a flight. Underwhelming was my first impression. The graphics were great, but the plane was slow and sluggish, and I didn't have a clue how to operate any of the Su-25 systems. So it sat on my hard drive for a couple of years, played now and again, until I got the Spitfire module. I started watching YouTube tutorials on how to, start it, take off, land, not die. That then leads on to tactics and techniques, and that's it. I was hooked. The F-18 was my foot in the door for modern Blue 4 aircraft, and most of the knowledge I acquired from that transferred to the JF-17 quite well. The feeling of completing a mission from start to finish is just so great. I think if there is a problem with DCS, it's the initial high cost, be it on a PC to run it, joysticks and DLC, and the time you need to invest into it. I'm in my mid-40s now though, so justify it to myself as a hobby, where some of my friends will pursue fishing, golf, cars. I'm investing in something I enjoy, and with the new cloud updates and possible Eurofighter release, DCS is still going to remain my most played game. I do enjoy many different games though, so I will be sharing my forays into the world of Microsoft Flight Sim racing and various other titles I hope you'll enjoy as much as DCS. I would also love to hear from you as well on the video games which you have fond memories of and your own gaming journeys. I've rambled on for long enough though, so I'll bring this video to a close, but I would again like to thank you all so much for your likes, subscriptions and kind comments. I'm absolutely chuffed, stoked, over the moon to have achieved 1,000 subs and look forward to sharing more content with you all. Thanks very much, bye for now.